Good evening, YouTube. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you might be checking out this video. My name is Dre, Cuts by Dre. This is New Styles Mobile Barber, and this video is going to be about the reasons why I say I'm the best barber on the East Coast. And I'm going to give you 10 reasons why you also can be considered the best barber in your area or wherever you might be. Now, why I consider myself to be the best? Well, I'm gonna break it down to you in this video. I'm gonna show you 10 reasons why I think things that you need to know to be the best in this business. Also, in this video, I'm gonna break down this haircut. I'm working on a bald fade inside my mobile barber van. In this business, speed is necessary. If you want to make good money in this business, speed is necessary. Quality is definitely necessary. Once you get your quality down, then you got to work on your speed in this particular business. So I'm gonna pretty much go through this video and I'm gonna show you in real time. This video isn't sped up. It's in real time, so you can see me cut this fade in real time. I'm gonna show you the clippers that I'm using. I'm gonna talk about them briefly. And at the same time, I'm gonna give you the reasons why I say I'm the best barber on the East Coast. And I'm gonna give y'all some tips on how you can be the best barber in your area. One of the best alongside myself. So number one, first of all, this is bald fade. This customer is getting a basic bald fade, a medium to high bald fade. I started out with these clippers. These are the Andy Super ZR clippers. I love these clippers because they're very powerful, man. You can actually cut a dog with these clippers. They're so powerful. No, I haven't cut any dogs with them, but I'm just saying you can. I actually seen them on a website for dog cutting. That's how powerful they are. I like to start them out because they're fast, they're powerful, saves my blades when I'm going to start my fade. Then as you see now, I'm using the Wall, I think these are the Wall 100, year 100 walls. It's all metal chassis. I love these clippers because they're quiet, they're cordless, they do an excellent fade, an excellent blend. I definitely recommend you to get these, especially if you're trying to get your speed game up, because definitely you need to get your speed game up in this business. But let me get into the first reason why I believe I'm the best barber on the East Coast and what you need to be the best barber on the East Coast. First of all, you got to be licensed, straight up out the box. There's a lot of jackleg barbers out there. Jackleg is a term, I'm old school. Jackleg is a term that we used back in the day, meaning barbers that don't have no license, kitchen cutters. They didn't go to school, but they can cut some good hair, but they didn't go to school. You can't be considered the best barber if you don't have a license. Hands down, you got to have your barber's license to be even considered to be one of the best barbers. Going a little bit even further, you need your master's barber, your master barber license. Okay, that is very important to have as well. You got to be a master barber. If you want to be considered the best, then you got to be a master of what you're doing. Now, how do you go about getting a master barber? Yeah, there's several ways. You can take a little bit more courses, some more hours, a little bit more training. And some master barbers even come with time. You can get grandfather clause. The grandfather clause is what they call it. You can pretty much get grandfathered in because you've been cutting so long, they grant you a master barber license. One or two ways to get it. Bottom line, if you want to be considered the best out here in this game, number one, you got to have your license. And on top of that, you got to have your master barber license. Now, these are my opinions, but I think these are valid opinions from a 30-year professional in the game. Right now, you see I'm going through this guy's cut. He's getting the bald fade. In order to increase speed, I never start a bald fade with a ball edger, like your edges, your T-outliners. And the reason why I don't is because at the end of the cut, you pretty much got to work that line out. You got to work that ball line out. So I'll show you a little bit later how I do my ball fades. I start, like I said, with that Andy Super ZR clipper, and that's pretty much a close triple O all the way around. Close to ball, but not ball. Then I'll come up with what you see me using right now, the wall 100s. And that's where I pretty much do all my fading the lines out. And as you can see, I'm not rushing on this haircut at all. I'm taking my time, not speeding. The video isn't sped up. You need to be able to do this within 20 to 30 minutes if you want to really make good money in this business. The number 2 reason why I believe that I'm the best barber on the East Coast, you gotta be willing to learn. You have to be willing to learn. I am a barber that's always been willing to learn. I've been in this game for 30 plus years. Been a licensed professional for 30 years. So you know things has changed over time. So if you want to be the best, you got to be willing to learn. You got to be willing to learn new cuts, new techniques, and new tech, because cordless clippers wasn't even out when I started. It wasn't even thought of when I started. But you need to be able to keep up with the times, keep up with the tech, keep up with all of the new instruments, all of the new gadgets that's coming out. And you need to be able to keep up with the lingo of the business, you know. Some guys call cuts different terms now that they didn't use back in the day. You need to be able to learn and keep up with all that. That's my number 2 reason. My number 2 reason. Notice I ain't even started talking about cutting hair yet. My number 2 reason is you need to be willing to learn. Now, hey, if you're not willing to learn, then this ain't the business for you. Actually, no business is really the business for you. You got to be willing to learn in whatever you're doing in life. Right now, you see I'm cleaning it up with that Walls 100. I love that clipper. I'm not going fast at all with it. I'm taking my time. Some people say that I cut super fast, but as you can see in this video, I'm really just taking my time. I'm going around it at a nice pace, no rushing at all. And you know, the blend is slowly but surely but quickly coming through. Right now I'm using the Andes outliners. I don't like the T outliners as much. I like the regular outliners. This is where I actually ball the fade. I use that to actually ball the fade coming up without putting that ball line in. I think you get a much more smooth and gradual fade when you do it this way, opposed to flipping the clipper over and putting that deep ball line in. And everybody got their techniques, and I'm not saying any other technique is wrong, but this is the way I like to do it, and I think it improves the speed because you don't have to work out that deep line at the very end, which could take some time. All right, my 3rd reason on why I'm the best barber on the East Coast is your cut game. Yes, cutting comes in at number 3. It's not number 1. It's not number 2. Actually, I believe your cutting skills come in at number 3. You got to be able to cut. And you can't be a good barber. You got to be a great barber. And the reason why it's number 3, because number 2 was you got to be willing to learn. You always got to be willing to learn techniques. So it's impossible for you to be a great barber, which is number 3, if you're not willing to learn. So the number 3 reason why I'm the best barber on the East Coast is because I am willing to learn, and I continue to learn techniques, new styles, everything there is to know about this game. I'm in it. I keep my head in the books. I stay on YouTube. I subscribe to several barbers on YouTube, and I'm always practicing my craft, because that's pretty much what you're doing. You're practicing. Just like doctors, they call it practitioners. That's what we're doing too. We're practicing on every head to get better and better and better and better. And at some point you might say you can't get no better. But yes, you can. Every cut you can get better. It just gets that much better. And you gotta love what you do. I love this cutting game, man. It's a passion of mine. I remember when I was in barber school, people used to crowd around my chair and they used to be like, wow, he cutting hair like he Picasso. I didn't understand what they was talking about, because it was such a passion inside of me. It was such a way that I used to cut and how I used to carry myself when I was cutting hair. People just used to stand around my chair in awe and how I used to cut hair. And to this day, still in the barbershop, I get people coming up to me telling me, man, can you cut me next? Man, I want you to do that to my hair. And I'm just cutting regular, not doing anything out of the ordinary to me, but to other people, it looks supernatural. So you got to get your skills up. Your cut game got to be great. And I believe that's number 3 on why I'm the best barber on the East Coast. And number 4, I believe you got to be in this business for at least 4 years. Now I know some people might debate that. You can holler at me down in the what you call it down in the post. I say 4 years because it's impossible for you to come right out of school and say you're the best or even be the best. You got to put some time under your belt. It takes time for you to get those skills up. It takes time for you to get that speed up that it takes to be the best. And I think 4 years is an appropriate time. I myself been in the business for 30 years. So I think I'm well past that year of actually being the best. And the reason why it takes time because you see a lot over time. You see just about everything there is to see. Every head done sat in your chair. Every style, texture done sat in your chair. And you've got a chance to master every style. And within 4 years, I think that's a good enough time to say that you've mastered every style or just about every style that's out there, no matter what the texture is, whether it's a white client, a black client, a child. You got to be able to fade them children just as good as you can fade those adults. The children with curly hair, with straight hair, you got to be able to get that cut just as tight as you get an adult that's sitting perfectly still. What makes you the best? Why a lot of children come to me, a lot of moms bring their kids to me, is because I'm patient with their kids. I don't fight them. I might tussle with them a little bit to make sure that haircut is tight, but I don't fight them. I let them wiggle, I let them move around, and I take my time also moving as quick as possible so they're not in the chair too long. So number three, got to have your cut game up. Got to have your cut game up. And number 4, what I just talked about, I believe you need to be in the game for at least 4 years before you consider yourself the best and be able to see a lot of different styles that's out here. Number 5, you see right now I'm edging them up with the Andes outliners. I like those outliners. A lot of people use the T outliners. The T outliners, in my opinion, they're too long, and they sometimes they cut into the client. So I don't necessarily like to use that T outliner. I like that regular outliner because it's if you're cutting kids, you don't got to worry about cutting them. Number 5, you got to be reliable. You got to be reliable. You got to be on time every day, man. You got to develop a history of being on time. Your customers got to know that you're going to be there when you say you're going to be there. And that goes back to number 4, being in business for 4 years. 4 years of being on time. Customers know you're going to be there. When you say you're going to be there, they don't have to guess. That's what makes you a great barber. That's what makes you one of the best in your area. It's being on time, being reliable, not jumping around from shop to shop, standing your ground and being the best barber that you can be. Reputation wise, barbers, we listeners, that's one of the things that's in here as well. And I'm gonna stick that in with being on time and being reliable. You gotta be able to listen to your clients. We almost like subpar psychiatrists, man. We sit back and we listen. You gotta be able to listen well, and you gotta be able to communicate with your customers well. Not talking to death, but just listen and have a good communication with them. Number 6, you gotta cut by appointments. If you're going to be the best in your area, the best, you can't be cutting walk-ins anymore. Nothing wrong with cutting walk-ins. If you're not busy, yes, a walk-in comes in, definitely take it. But it's impossible for you to be the best if you're not cutting by appointments. Because when you get a lot of clientele, like myself, most people want their hair cut on Fridays and Saturdays, and it's impossible to cut all your clients on the weekend or right before the weekends. Appointments or appointment books or appointment apps allow you to spread your clients out. When they book you, they can see that, man, the weekends is booked. I don't have no choice but to schedule a Wednesday appointment. So therefore, you get to spread your appointments out, what makes you more available to all of your customers. That's going to make you one of the best barbers in your area, definitely. And to do that, my number 6 reason, you need a website. I'm sorry, that's number 7. Number 6 was cutting by appointments. Number 7 is you need a website. You definitely need a professional website or an app. Right here, this is where a technique that I came up with about 20 years ago. A lot of people use the things where you spray. Right now, I'm pretty much giving them a highlight. And I use this tape method that I don't see anybody else using. It's way better than using a business card or some of the things that they got out. The reason why is if anybody out there ever painted before, you know once you paint your house and you put that paint tape down, when you peel that tape back, you got the sharpest line ever. So this tape thing actually allows you to make sure none of that spray goes under the tape and you get the sharpest line ever when you pull that tape back. So that's something I recommend you barbers to get into. If you're fast, you can really do that. It won't take that much time at all, especially when you get used to it. Stop using them little plastic things. Stop using business cards. Get you some nice tape. You can't get no cheap dollar store tape either. You got to get that tape from the auto parts store. Some tape that'll really stick to the skin, because the skin got temperature, and regular cheap tape won't stick to your head due to the temperature of the skin. It'll just come right off. So get you some good tape. You see how I line them up first, and then I follow that line. Then I spray them with a little bit of highlight, and it comes out real perfect. Number 7, I was telling you about that website that you needed. You definitely need to get that website, because without that professional website, people can't book you. You can't be like anybody else. You can't be an ordinary barber. You got to have a professional website in this business in order for people to book you. Right now, you see how I'm spraying on that spray lightly, and I'll pull that tape off in a minute, and it'll be real crispy. That's that lingo they're using out there now, okay? Number 8, you got to keep financial records, and you need to be making at least $1,000 a week if you want to be considered the best. That's the minimum. There's barbers out here that's making $1K and more. You need to be making at least $52,000 a year minimum to be considered the best. And really, you should be $75K or above. Then you can consider yourself, okay, I think I'm one of the best, because I'm making good money at it. I'm making a good living at it. See, I'm pulling that tape off right now, and that line is super sharp. Hopefully I'll get a closer view of that line in a second. You see how sharp that line is? Super sharp. Then I clean it up with the edges again. And man, that cut's about ready to go. Definitely got to keep those financial records. That's number 8. You got to keep those records tight. You got to pay those taxes, because when it's come time for you to get a car or a house or a business, you got to have some income on paper. And there's a lot of barbers out there on YouTube that's telling you that as well. I'm about finishing up the cut right now. I'm just cleaning them up a little bit. Under right now, we about at the 17 minute mark. So this cut is coming in at a decent time for a mobile cut. Number 9, I think you need to be a shop owner. If you want to be considered the best barber in your area, I consider myself to be the best barber on the East Coast, not just my area, because you got to be a shop owner. You can't say you're the best if you're working for somebody. Come on. The American dream is to what? Own a house, own your own business, get you a dog, family, you know. You got to be a shop owner if you want to be considered the best. I'm finishing them up right now, well in that good enough time. And I want to tell you what my number 10 reason is. My number 10 reason is you need to have a mobile rig. I know a lot of people ain't got it, but that's the reason why I believe I'm the best on the East Coast, because I can check off all 10 of these boxes. One reason why you need to have a mobile rig, because all your clientele, all your top paying customers can't get to you. I've been in a shopping center for 30 years. It started out a great area. As time went on, the shopping center kind of went down a little bit. The median income went down a little bit. So I got me a mobile rig. So now I go to where my high paying customers are at. I don't have to depend on them to come to me. You'll be able to go to them. So you got to have that mobile rig. That's number 10. And that's the final reason why I think I'm the best barber in the East Coast. For all my customers watching on YouTube, That YouTube code to get 20% off your next haircut is YouTube with a capital T. Make sure you put that in when you're checking out at the coupon code, and you will receive 20% off your next haircut. And that's another reason why I'm the best.